age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. I'm one of your hosts, Barbara Marville Kelly. Thanks for joining us. And, of course, my partner. Should I say partner in crime? No. Whatever, right? Dennis Kelly. And it's great to have you back with us. The first show for the month of September because of Labor Day. Are you there?
I'm right here.
Are you there? Are you tuned in today?
Yeah, I just figured I would let you finish.
Oh, okay. Because he knows not to interrupt, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's right.
You know, all kidding aside, I'm excited about our show today because we're starting a new concept, kind of a new segment called Right On TV, WRITE, because we've had so many authors come and go, and now we're going to actually do a regular show. So we want to have authors and speakers come on primetime so that they can talk about the different books. And also today we're going to be talking about a specific book fair. We have our dear friend Helena Trangata, who's going to be joining us from Bellissimo Publishing, and she's brought a couple of her authors with her that's going to be participating at her table at this book fair, and it's really exciting to see that we're going to be getting books back into the mall. So stay with us. We're going to be talking about that. But speaking of books and speaking of authors, I, of course, would be remiss if I didn't introduce my author/husband, Dennis Kelly, who wrote a book, my goodness, after using me as the guinea pig, right?
Absolutely.
The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. This was written back in 1996, right?
That's right.
And you're on the cover of it. It was when my husband, he came right out of retirement and decided to compete again to raise the awareness on what happens when you take good care of yourself. But I want to ask you and have you tell our viewers the 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth was really kind of like a God thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be able to give people an easy formula to be able to be successful as far as health-wise, business-wise. But the main thing is being able to make people realize the same things that you used to be an Olympic athlete are the same things that you would use to be the top father, top mother, top CEO of a company and things like that. So I put it into stages. The first 3 stages are all, they're not physical, they're all emotional and mental. Then the next 3 stages of the 6 are all, I got it backwards. The first 3 are all physical, then the last 3 are all spiritual and to do with the mind. So you're getting the best of both worlds. The mind is the map, the body is the vehicle, and the spirit is the fuel, that type of things.
And you know, this is actually something that we both use on a regular basis, because when it comes to that whole mind, body, spirit, I know it's an overused phrase, but it does work. When you connect all 3, using the mind as the map and the body as the vehicle and the spirit as the fuel, how much better can it get than that, really? And when you do that, you will see the fireworks begin. You will see changes that can take place over time. Sometimes it doesn't take that long, but you had several experiences in your life that caused you to go on a quest to figure out what are the secrets to youth? How can you live a longer life and be healthy at it? And this was a result of that. But what was it that happened? Was it your dad that, when he died from a massive coronary at a young age?
Well, a lot of things. I had a stepfather that was very abusive mentally, and I didn't do well in sports. And in fact, my coach used to joke to the other players, you know, that I was the worst athlete he's ever seen. And so growing up with that paradigm, I had this insatiable desire to be successful and show my stepdad and show my coach and show the people that called me a loser that I wasn't. Because after really researching all the autobiographies of many very successful men and women, I wanted to be able to have the input to be able to change my life, because unless you change, everything's going to be the same. When you set a goal, the key thing is if that is beyond your comfort level, then you got to make and set the goal. You got to make whatever changes are necessary. That's why I call it the 6 steps. The first step is exercise. No matter what else anybody tells you, if you want to be healthy, you've got to exercise. There are very rare times when a person can get through life without exercise and be extremely healthy. There are those situations, but they're so rare, it's not worth taking a chance. So that's why I put the first one, get physical, like the song that, what was her name, Evelyn John.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
anyway, she was talking about get physical. Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
Get physical.
Yeah.
So, like even going out washing the car or doing some physical work, it's not just exercising. Then the next step is nutrition. Being able to eat 75% of your time, eat the right foods. You know, 75% of what you eat should be water soluble.
And that is very important to remember on a regular basis too, and that's all in this book. So carry on.
Yeah, because the thing is the body is like a high-performance machine, and you want to give it high-performance gas. Like if you have a race car, like the race car I used to have, had 500 horsepower. You couldn't put regular gas in that car. It wouldn't run. You'd have to put special high-octane gas.
Exactly.
So the same thing with the human body. If you eat sweets and stay away from your vegetables and fruits and your fish and chicken, then you're going to be putting low-performance stuff into a high-performance potential body.
Is that what you'd call empty calories?
Yeah, empty calories. And they actually, for some godforsaken reason, make you eat more because your body's not getting the proper nutrition, so you have to take and eat more to get at least a little bit of nutrition, and so the body craves more food. That's important to realize. Then the second or third step after nutrition is supplements. I don't care how pure food you eat or good food or whatever, the key thing is you need to supplement your food with certain supplements because the soil does not give us the vitamins. You need 60 trace minerals to be able to be healthy, and our soil only has 3. So that gives you a good idea.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That is really scary.
So that's why I wrote in my book all the necessary things they need to know about supplements. Save them a lot of time. Whoever reads the book, save a lot of time, a lot of wasted energy by finding out what is the right thing to do. And in my book, I cover that.
And even though this book was actually in print in 1996, and yes, he really did use me as a guinea pig because at that time, I was working at the Home Shopping Network, and many of you remember those early morning hours that were very grueling, and I had to really be on my game back then. And so that's actually where we met. And so my husband was in the process of this, and you put me on your program.
Right.
And it worked.
You're a good guinea pig.
I was a good guinea pig.
You turned out good.
Yeah. So when I go back to that, and I think it's like a handbook. It is like a handbook, and it shows you every single step of the way. It's called the 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. But the thing is that my husband is a personal fitness trainer. He's a certified sport nutritionist, and he's a certified heart math coach. So a lot of what's up here and what's in here is in this book, and he's getting ready to. He's actually been working on several different books, but this one is his first, and it's been very, very popular. It's almost like a sleeper. So if you'd like to get it, you can always go to dennis-kelly.com, and you can pick this up, and you won't put it down. This is the kind of book you keep by your nightstand, you keep by your sofa table, and you stick with it until it's finished. And I have to commend you on this because you are still working on The Legend of Tango Man, which is the movie that you're also writing, in finishing that up and catching up the chapters in your life, because you're just a walking miracle with some of the crazy challenges that you have had, but you still follow this program. You follow the Mind, Body, Spirit map, which works.
Yeah, well, the other steps, too, that are so important is the 4th step is relaxation. Because if you can't learn to relax, you're never going to be successful. You're never going to live a healthy life. Because it's so important to be able to take some time. There's an old saying, a quote by Pascal, all of human unhappiness comes from one single thing, not being able to remain quietly in a room alone. So it's easier to relax when you get the right food, when you exercise, and you get blood to the brain through exercise and through the rest of the body. It makes it a big difference when you go to sit down and relax, like you've accomplished something. And then, of course, after the relaxation is psychological profile, your attitude. You cannot be happy with a bad attitude.
That's true.
I have never in my life, and you can never show anybody or anything about anybody to be happy if they don't have a good attitude.
That is so
Now,
true.
if you do the first 5 things, the first 5 steps, exercise, nutrition, supplements, relaxation, attitude, which is a psychological profile, then it's so easy to be the 6th step, happy.
Exactly. And on that note, we're going to be taking a break. Again, if you want to get the book, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth, all of these principles still apply today from 1996. So you can go to dennis-kelly.com. When we come back, we're going to be introducing a very special lady who happens to be a publisher, Bellissimo Publishing, Miss Helena Trangata. So stay with us. I want to thank you, my husband, for coming in the first segment and allowing us to introduce other authors to come in.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I'll be glad to be asked again.
Oh, I'll think about that. Thanks. We'll be right back. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just 1 or 2 options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. And welcome in, everyone, to Primetime TV Show. It's great to have you with us. How do you like our Right On? I am so excited about our Right On TV segment because we get a chance to introduce authors to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. You get a chance to hear what's happening in the neighborhood, including getting books back into the mall with a book fair coming up. Thanks to my friend, Helena Trangata, from Bellissimo Publishing. Welcome back again.
Thank you for having me back.
You're an icon here.
An icon. That's what I wanted it to be.
Well, you are bringing authors in like Mr. Raymond Terry. Hello, Raymond.
Nice to meet you, Laura.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Okay.
It looks like you have been writing for a good little while, like 25 years ago.
Yeah,
That is amazing. And you have 7 books out and about.
right. I do.
That's exciting. That's really exciting. Now, in your bio, I read here that you are you've always been a teller of tales. So this is the perfect genre for you to be an author.
I think so too.
You think so too?
No doubt my Irish ancestry or something. We all have stories to tell.
You know what? That's what Helena always says. Everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah, I do.
So tell me about this story and how it led to these other books.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, this is actually. I've always been intrigued about the idea of bringing casino gambling to Florida. I mean, it's been discussed for years and voted down.
Yes.
So I figured it might be a good idea if somebody built an entire city of casinos and did it on the QT. And that's what happens up in North Florida, an area roughly commensurate between Mexico Beach and Panama City. And that's where I cited it. And after you start the book, you find out that the wrong team has been picked.
Oh, no.
Job.
Oh.
I hate it when that
And they
happens.
just like take that inevitable slide. And it was a fun book.
I guess.
I mean, it goes from the redneck Riviera up there all the way to the Atchafalaya swamps. And some very interesting characters that I enjoyed learning about.
Now, how long did it take you to write this book?
Believe it or not, that one took about 8 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Once it got started, it was very easy to just continue.
Was that what it was, is getting started?
Yeah, we had basically an idea. I don't actually sit there and write outlines. I've never been able to do that. I just sit down and write. And you can sort of feel where it's going to go as you write. And you write to the story rather than say, well, it does this in the outline, so I have to do it that way. I don't like outlines.
You have a free spirit, I can tell.
Very much so. Yes. Very much so.
So this I can't wait to read this one. This
You would have a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I write everything so that you'll have a good time reading it.
Well, that's good. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a movie in print. Love it.
Yes.
Yes. So
Some of his other books are more historical.
okay.
Yes, that's true.
The ones about Hernando County, which is
that
really
was-
applicable since
that
we're
was
right
the
next
first
door to
book.
Hernando County.
Okay.
That was
okay.
very interesting to me. I think that was the first one I read, was
Yes.
that one. Yeah.
So-
Bend in the Trail. That was actually the first one I wrote.
Oh, this one was. So
Yeah.
Condo Maximum
Condo Maximum is book 3.
is book 3, and you can get this on Amazon. Yes.
Yes, you can.
And Raymond Terry here, A Bend in the Trail, Murder and Mayhem in Florida. America's vacation paradise. I love that. And you can get this one as well.
Yes, always
Okay.
carry a shovel in your truck
Oh, yeah?
in case you need to deal with a sudden death. You know.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's good to know, right? That's good to know. I always carry a shovel in my truck.
I think it's more applicable the further north you go in Florida.
That's pretty good. And so the second coming of Walter Clements.
That was a dream.
Really?
One of my hobbies is particle physics, and
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a hobby I'd be into.
Particle physics?
they're very small and hard to see, but the possibility of there being parallel universes is something that can be proven mathematically. And they do know that particles visit them all the time and come back. So what I tried to do in this book was to arrange to send a person there. And he doesn't really quite understand how the process works, but he can get to AD 98, the first century in Rome. And that's where he goes. And he sets up an alternate existence there, and he comes back and forth. And unfortunately, Walter Clements had to change his name because everybody wants to know how he did it.
Oh, but don't tell.
But don't tell.
But don't tell. You want to get the book. I'm already wanting to know.
In a way, you might say that there's a science fiction element to it, but it's an adjunct to the story. It's not the main theme of the story. It's just there as part of the plot.
Wow.
This man's got some kind of mind.
I'm just thinking, where does he come up with all this? So this was a dream?
It was. It started off that way.
It started off that way.
Yeah.
So you must lay, when you go to bed at night, you must have that pad at your...
I have always had a pad there for things. I write a lot of poetry, which no one likes to read, but it's there. If I do have an idea, I'm at least capable of writing it down and
that's good.
remembering it the next day. Because we all don't. I don't remember dreams worth a hoot otherwise.
He just told James that in the green room. He just told him that he should have that pad next to his.
Oh, James
bed.
has really awesome ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's working on 5 books.
Yeah, he was telling me that the other day too. That sounds familiar.
He said he's got ways to catch up with Raymond here.
I've got a couple more that are coming along. I've got Messing About in Small Boats at the Bottom of the Known World.
Say that again?
Long title. Messing About in Small Boats at the Bottom of the Known World.
Just the title alone has me memorized. I'm already salivating for this book. How about you?
Well, every year there's a race around Antarctica for sailboats.
Sailboats around Antarctica?
Yeah.
Little did I know.
Roughest
I've just
water
been
in the
missing
world.
this all.
Yeah. I've done a lot of sailing, and I enjoy it. But
Have you ever done the race?
No. My protagonist is a perpetual ocean racer who always finishes either dead last or almost last.
Okay.
That would be me.
This year, for some reason or another, he is actually winning, and he is 4 days ahead of his closest competitor, and he is requested by the Queen of England to go on a rescue mission to salvage her niece.
Oh, wow.
And he knows that if he does that, he's going to
It's a hard
lose
decision.
one more time.
Oh my
So
goodness.
he's a very reluctant knight errant. And if you're interested in sailing or something, it's a good, fun book.
Another good fun book. That's great.
Yeah.
I tell you, you piqued my interest. And we have another one here on the set that I want to just mention as well, because this one too is Moon Racer. Tomorrow is another yesterday.
Always.
That's true.
Yes, it is. The only good day was yesterday. Right?
Yeah, I like this.
You would. It's an interesting story. It's a career diplomat who is sent back to a fictional country in Central America where he was stationed during the Nicaragua-Contra conflict.
Okay.
And once he gets there, problems start cropping up.
Really?
And as it says in the blurb on the back, Bart Driscoll is on the run once again. It allowed me to reissue 2 characters from A Bend in the Trail that I felt had redeeming characteristics in that story. And I brought them back here, and they become sort of anti-heroes in a way.
Cool.
It shows their more human side.
Very cool.
This is why I love to publish.
Yeah.
Because
you know
you
what?
get to hear all of this
get
from
it.
one author.
Yeah.
I get it.
He has ideas that would never enter my brain.
I tell you, it's fascinating.
It isn't it?
It's very
exciting? Because
fascinating.
everybody is so interesting, and lots of these things are this bit interesting to me, but only because I want to read them or publish the book.
Yeah.
There's no way I could ever write these things. I mean, just when I'm hearing this, I'm going, his brain works differently than mine.
Well, it's obviously very creative, very intelligent, and
fanciful.
Yeah,
Fanciful.
exactly, and fun.
Well, the characters actually become real as you write them.
That's how I love to read,
Yeah.
is when you can absorb yourself into a book and you actually either feel like one of the characters or you can just escape your everyday concerns and just bury yourself in a really good book. I mean, that's really the way to do it. Now, you can get Raymond's books on Amazon.com, so make sure you go there, check them out, and you can read a little bit more and entice yourself for the next rainy day or just when you curl up with your favorite pet, or you just want to dig into a good book. These are incredible, I can tell you now. But the other thing is, I want to let you know about a book fair that's coming up. So I'm going to turn this over to my co-host, Miss Helena, also known as Tinkerbella, because she flutters her wings around town and makes things happen here. So when is the book fair coming up?
The book fair is this Saturday. We're very excited about it. Raymond will be there, as well as our next guest. And my husband, who's been on the show before, Joe Trangata, will be there. And it's at the West Shore Mall in Tampa. It starts at 10 in the morning when they open, and we will be there all day.
All day.
And so it's exciting that there's going to be over 100 authors there. So can you imagine, I mean, last year at this book fair, the creativity in the room was palatable. It was so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, that is exciting, too, because I remember last year, that was when you were participating in it, so it was good to see that they brought it back again. This is going to be an annual event?
Yes, we've already actually agreed to do it again next year at West Shore Mall.
Very good.
So they're very excited about having us there, and we're excited about being there. But 100 authors. Last year, I think we had just a little over 50 authors.
So you've doubled it.
So we've doubled it.
Yeah.
And apparently there's every genre possible going to be there.
That is so great. And people could just pick and choose and meet all the authors. Get their books there and sign
have
them.
Signed, right. So there will be certain times that Raymond is not selling his book. His book will be available all day, but signing his book, as well as Linda and Joe.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on all of them.
And all of my character references agree that I am one. So come on down and have a good time.
There you go. I think it'd be worth it. Just go to see Raymond alone. That will be exciting.
It will be the Raymond show.
I know. Thank you so much, Raymond.
Well, thank you for having me, Barbara.
Yeah.
I appreciate being here. I really do.
Good, good.
Okay.
Well, I can't wait to dig in. We're going to be right back. We have Linda Burhans coming up. Are you a caregiver? Do you know of a caregiver? Well, we're all going to be one at some time or another. We'll be right back. More to come here on Right On TV. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex. Short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Hi, everyone, and welcome back into Primetime TV Show, our special segment called Right on TV, designed really for authors and speakers, artists, people that want to come in and really talk about their story, because everyone has a story. I am really honored to present my next guest, who is an author, speaker, has been a caregiver, and is following her mission from her heart, is Linda Burhans. I am so thrilled to have you out here with us. Thanks to Helena Trangata from Bellissimo Publishing. And we were just saying, how long has it been?
I don't know,
at
10,
least
12 years,
something.
whatever.
Yeah.
But you look exactly the same.
Well, you look exactly the
thank
same.
you.
Oh my goodness. But I remember when I met your mom at the time, and I was going to a networking meeting, and I met you and your mom. And you ended up being caregiving for your mom.
Well, I have to tell you something funny about networking with my mom. I used to take my mom networking with me. You know, you stand up and you do your little 30-second commercial. She'd say, "Hi, my name is Joe. I'm Linda's mother. I just moved here from New York, and I just want to find a man with a lot of money that just wants to be my friend." And they'd be like, "Get on the line behind me."
Oh, she was really sweet. And actually, that is what started you on your quest with caregiving. Linda has a book out now called Connecting Caregivers. Whoever even gives it any thought that we're going to be a caregiver at some point or another?
I didn't even know I was a caregiver. I was the faithful daughter.
Right.
When I wrote my first book, Good Night and God Bless, about the last 18 months of my mother's life, it was just a mission from the heart of our journey and what had happened.
And what a touching book.
I
have to tell you.
I have it. I know I have it.
Tears. Be ready with the tissues.
Yes. Mom's watching me right now, really
Hi,
happy.
Mom. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Mom. And so after that book was published and I went out to promote that book, every single time people came out to me crying, saying they needed help. And no one helped me with anything when I was on my journey. They were like, "Oh, she's a businesswoman, she knows," but I didn't have a clue. I didn't find out what respite care was until I was in my bereavement group. So I said, okay, I'm going to become a caregiver advocate.
And you've done a great job of it, I have to say.
So in the past 4 years, I facilitate over 1,200 support groups and workshops, and I want to be the resource, the educator, and the shoulder for the caregiver.
Wow, that's taken on a lot. That's taken on a lot. So you know how to caregive for yourself, don't you?
Yeah, pretty good at it. But the wonderful thing is, your caregiving experience can be the most horrific experience of your life.
True.
Or can be pretty beautiful, depending on how you handle it.
Exactly.
And that's the lesson I want to teach caregivers. And if I give them information, and if I give them resources, and if I give them support, they can find that joy in the journey, perhaps.
So you're raising the awareness that it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm a caregiver, right?
Well, you know what happens? Caregivers come to my support groups. They'll come for, let's say, a year or two, and their loved one passes away. And they keep coming back because they have a community there and whatever.
Sure.
But their biggest regret is during their caregiving experience, they were too task-orientated. That they were worried about the pills and the diapers and the food, and instead of sitting down and having that time. And that's something I want to get across to them, is take that time. You know, my mom was at my house one day, and she was watching TV, and she was watching Judge Judy, and my mom had something to say about everything. And, and I walked in the room, and she was just staring at her hands. And I was like, "Mama, what?" And she said, "I'm just looking at these old, ugly, arthritic hands." And normally I would have said, "Oh, Mama, those hands are just fine," or "Here's some hand lotion." But I know I only had a limited amount of time, and I sat down, and I took her hands in my hands, and I was like, "Ma, besides how many dishes these hands washed and how many clothes," my mama didn't get a washing machine to the 4th kid. I remember I washed them in the kitchen sink and hanging them on the line.
Mine too.
I said, these hands have wiped my tears and combed my hair. held my granddaughter and held my grandchildren, Mama. And these hands gave me a good whack on the fanny when I deserved it. Thank you. And my mother very softly said to me, oh, thank you, Linda. And that was one of the most profound moments in my life. And what did it take? 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I bet, and as you look back on those special seconds, I know they're near and dear to you today, and that drives you to keep moving forward.
And to help other people have those experiences.
That's right. That's right.
And
I'm glad you mentioned that about the pills and the diapers and the food and the this and the that. Yeah.
What's really important.
That's right.
You know, a woman came into a support group of mine probably 2 years ago. She had just moved to Florida. Her mother had passed away. Her dad has the Alzheimer's. She didn't even know what Alzheimer's was. He had only been really diagnosed shortly before that, and the mother was hiding it and whatever. And she said, I want to make this the best Christmas ever, and I'm going to deck out the whole house with lights. Well, that's probably the worst thing you can do for somebody with Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. It's distracting. It could be irritating. And I said to her, honey, you don't want to do that. And she said, well, what can I do? I said, is he still eating well? She said, yeah. I said, make all his favorite foods. I said, tell me something he used to do when he was a kid, with you when you were a kid. We used to go fishing, but we can't do that. But we used to play Parcheesi. I said, get a Parcheesi game and play with your dad. I said, and after dinner, pull out the photo albums. And she said to me, Linda, he won't know anybody in the pictures. I said, I don't care. Pull out the photo albums. So I see her a couple of weeks after Christmas, and she said, he ate every scrap of food. He kicked my behind like 12 times in Parcheesi. She said, when I took that photo album, Linda, I told you he wasn't going to know any of the people, but guess what?
He did.
He knew every car.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, that's a 1941 Ford, or that's whatever. And as she said it to me, she said, I don't even know if he was telling me the truth. Who cares?
Who cares? Exactly.
They have that time together.
They had a joyful afternoon with Dad.
Yeah.
So you teach caregivers to be in the moment.
Be in the moment, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And find the beauty. I mean, this is another great story. I just got to tell you this one. I have a gentleman that's been coming to a support group for over 2 years. His wife has Alzheimer's. She's in a community. He goes there every day, stays there like 8 hours with her, goes home every night. He doesn't know what to do with himself. You know, they've been married forever. And he called me probably about 6 months ago, and he said, it's all over. And I said, what? I thought she passed away. And he said, I went to visit her yesterday, and she said, I don't know you. I don't like you. Don't come here again. Don't visit me. I don't want you to come again. And he said, well, I thought it was just a bad day. And he went back the next day, and she said the same thing. And the people had said, maybe you shouldn't come back, or at least not right now. So we went and met for lunch, and I could really just sympathize with him. And he called me like 3 weeks later. He goes, I got the best news in the world. I said, what? He said, I haven't been able to sleep at night, Linda. I've been laying in bed trying to think of a solution. And we know there's not a solution. He said, but I kept hearing your voice, Linda, in my head saying, go into her world. She can't come into yours. Go into her world. She can't. Well, he has a full head of gray hair. The next morning he woke up and he went to the barber and had it dyed black and cut into a crew cut. And he hadn't worn, they've been married 62 years. He hadn't worn jeans in like 40 years. He went and got himself a pair of jeans, and he used to always wear a white t-shirt. And he found a surfer's cross that she gave him when they were 22. And he said to me, guess what? Now I'm her boyfriend.
Oh my goodness, that is adorable.
That is so
I get chill bumps.
What a risk he took.
I know.
He goes, I put the same moves on her I did when she was 18.
Oh my goodness, I love it. That's awesome.
Him. That's
he
really
figured
special.
out a way,
yeah.
and he took a risk, and it's for today. Because it might not be the same in 2 months from now, but it's what's working today.
And you know what? Especially with those particular caregiving moments, you do have to live in the moment and grab onto whatever you have.
Right.
Because you're giving something to them too. So in your book, and I know we only have 2 minutes remaining, gosh, I could keep you here all day long.
I'll come another time.
I know, you definitely will. But in your book, Connecting Caregivers.
All right, let me tell you a little bit about this. I wrote this with 18 professionals because people come to hear me speak and they wait online to ask me questions, and caregivers don't have time to wait online. And they need information. And that's why I have my website, too, for information for caregivers and a weekly blog. But what I did is I got 18 professionals together. So each one wrote a chapter on their expertise, whether it's the elder care attorney, whether it's the VA benefits, whether it's the Alzheimer's, whether it's definitions. And then I follow every other chapter with a heartfelt story, like the story I just told.
Perfect. Wow.
So a woman sent me an email yesterday and said, I read your book, and it brought me help and hope.
I love
Okay.
that. I love that. Help and hope. That's
Yeah.
what we need as a caregiver because
And that's
you just
what she
never
gives
know.
when she's speaking too, because
Yes.
I've been lucky enough to hear her speak and to a group full of caregivers, so in one shape or another with our Pasco Aging Network.
Thank you.
So she was nice enough to come there and talk to them, and they loved her.
I just want to get the word out.
I know.
Just wanna get the word out.
I'm so tickled to know you
And
all
she's
these
going to
years.
be there Saturday.
I was just
Yes.
going to say, let's talk about that book fair.
Yes.
You're going to be there to
Yes,
talk
I
to
will be
people
there.
and sign her book. So that's going to be exciting. And where is the book fair again?
At West Shore Plaza, and it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, goes all day long, and Linda's book will be available all
Yes,
day
it will
long.
be.
Oh, that is so
Love to meet you
great.
guys. Come see us.
Absolutely. You'll definitely have to
Yeah.
check it out. So Connecting Caregivers, you know what? This is a book to have on hand regardless.
Available on Amazon and Kindle.
There you go. I want to thank you, my dear. Good to
Thank
see you
you.
again.
Have a delicious
You're
evening.
awesome.
I love you.
I love
Thank
you
you.
too. We're going to have you back.
Thanks.
And we're going to have you back after this. We're going to talk to Miss Tinkerbella and find out what else is happening in her world. Maybe give a little plug for Joe Trangata, her husband. It's a family affair here. We'll be right back.
It is a family.
This is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
My middle son did not like to come to the dentist, but now he loves to come to the Beehive.
You don't have to be afraid to go to the dentist. Believe me, Dr. B and his worker bees are the best. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Exactly. Welcome back in, everyone, to Primetime TV show, where we are doing our special edition. We're very excited about it, called Right on TV, WRITE, such as in authors and books and speakers. So if you'd like to be on the show, feel free to get a hold of me, and we just might be able to make that happen. And guess what? If you happen to have a book that you're thinking of writing, you definitely have to get a hold of my guest, Helena Trangata, because she is all about you and your book, Bellissimo Publishing.
That's right.
You're having such a blast, and I'm really understanding why now.
Why wouldn't I? With this kind of energy coming into my life, and all of my authors are so different and unique, and they all have these wonderful stories. It's very exciting for me.
I know.
Very exciting for me.
I know. Raymond, he was really telling some stuff. I'm going, where on earth is he pulling all this? And then Linda Burhans.
I know. I have another guy right now who's writing something that I don't even know that I get. So. I mean, I saw it and I liked it. It's kind of like he had a virtual reality book. He's writing a virtual reality book. To me, it looks like a comic book. But I was intrigued by it, and I was like, go for it, Bob.
So you'll do all kinds of different stories, fiction.
That's right. Yeah. The only thing I really don't want to publish X-rated type books. I have no desire to do that.
Okay.
But I have. I'm working now with Judy Pope's brother, who's a race car driver.
Oh, cool.
And we haven't actually, he's not published his book. He's still racing, and I thought that was never going to work. But you know what? He was very interesting, and we clicked. So hopefully one day we'll actually get to put this book out that we've been talking about for 2 years now.
That is very, very exciting. Well, to take a book from start to finish and to have that relationship with somebody, and I know because we've been friends for a good while, you really wrap your heart around these people as well.
Oh, I do.
You do.
They all become friends. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of, Karen Gilman, who's doing the book fair, she's actually the one who is facilitating and planning this book fair that we're doing on Saturday. That's how we met, through Charity Chicks, as you know, because she was on your show.
Yep.
And she published her book with me. And so I got to know her and her entire family, and I love them, and I think they're precious people. And I can just go down the way that I met John was through Esther Ropp, who's a mutual friend. So it's been a very exciting part of my life. I'm not sure how we've had a conversation on this show before, how I got here and how I started with my husband's books. And my husband is Joseph Trangata, and he is a fiction author, and he's writing his 4th book right now. And they're available on Amazon. But the fact that I started with him and then I found all these wonderful people to me, it's just been very exciting. And they're all in different places. That's the other nice thing about it. If they've got, Karen came and her book was in her head, and then we talked about it, and she wanted a ghostwriter and didn't really like the cost of that ghostwriter when we talked about it, and so she started putting her book into a voice recorder on her way to work every day.
How fun is that?
And some people come, like John. I think he said that he wrote his first book all in longhand. That was 25 years ago. That's not surprising. Many people have their book practically done, and they just don't know what to do with it now.
Right.
And
it's getting to that point.
So it's very, I customize it to what they're looking for. The nice thing now is with the e-books, you can publish a book with 25 pages to set yourself up as an expert in your field, or to tell what your dream is about, or to tell your story, or just talk about what you're passionate about. And I think that's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome, because at one time you had to have a lot of money and be accepted with publishers. But today, we've talked about this many times, everybody has a story to tell.
And everybody can have a book.
And everybody can have a book because it can be totally affordable.
Absolutely. And you can do it what I call on the cheap.
On the cheap.
And if that's where their budget is, that's what I help them do. If they want to spend a little bit more, we can have cover design, we can do all kinds of things to make it a little bit more professional. There are some areas that you should never really cut cost on making a book, and one of those is editing. One of the things that's come about with ebooks is the fact that there are a lot of very poorly edited books out there.
I can imagine, and that would be the one thing with because I have I have a couple of books here and there inside me.
I know you do.
And I know you've been waiting for a while, and it's coming down the stretch here. But there's something that I just want to share with everyone before we say our closing here today, is you are actually writing a book too. And I'm going to tell you something about this. I've been following Helena with this book that she's writing because there is such a need to raise the awareness. When she called me up and she said, well, guess what I'm going to be doing? I said, what? She said, I'm going to be rocking babies. And so I'm not going to steal your thunder. We have a couple minutes left. I want you to share your story, the name of your book, because you have your book cover done, because both of us are, we really are passionate about what's happening out there in the world, and so many people aren't aware of this whole rocking baby thing.
Well, I'm volunteering at the hospital, and they call him a baby cuddler because of the needs in the NICU. Is that many of these babies that need the most cuddling are the ones who are going to not go home with mommy because they're being left for adoption, or they're premature, or that they are born addicted. So the ones that I tend to hold the most are the ones that were born addicted. And it's been very eye-opening. I had come through the ranks of doing volunteer work with Healthy Start Coalition, which I still work with, All Children's, PACE School for Girls. So I had a lot of black and white stats on this issue, which is epidemic portion.
Yes.
But until
I had no idea. I had no idea.
And I don't think many of us, especially in the grandma age, I don't think many of us do, because it's just something that we're not aware of because we're not in the school system, et cetera. But the use of opiates, it has become epidemic, and particularly, and I'm sure it's across the age, has no boundaries on that.
Right.
But it's particularly harmful to children that are born to parents that are taking that. And daddies too, but more than ever, of course, mommies who are carrying an infant for 8 or 9 months, because many times they're born premature because they are getting opiates through the pregnancy, the entire pregnancy time. And so I realized very shortly after I started this, I worked 4 hours a week in a NICU, and I realized that the babies have a story that has to be told. And I didn't go in there with this book in mind at all.
I know you didn't.
I just wanted to rock the babies, and I love babies, and I wanted to go in and rock the babies. But the babies have each told me a story. They come to me in the middle of the night, and they say, have you told my story yet? And I know that that God has put me in their lives to tell their story.
What's the name of your book?
Who's going to love our babies? Who is going to love our babies? Because many of these babies are not going to be loved by mommy and daddy because they either don't go home, or mommy or daddy are in a clinic, or possibly jail. I mean, the stories go on and on. And so what I've done is I've interviewed caregivers of those babies, and I'm writing the story. So much like Linda, I've got a story, and then I write something that's more from a caregiver point of view. So the book is not done yet. I'm still interviewing people. If you have can contact Barbara, myself, if you have something you want to contribute to that book. It's going to be moving, and it's definitely heartfelt and God-given.
I know it is, and it's going to be a really awesome book, and raising the awareness, which can really take on some meaning going out in other areas too.
I hope to go and talk to grade school children, because those are the ones you have to get to them very young for them to know not to be taking, because the brain is developed in the first 10 days of the pregnancy. So if they're on drugs the first 10 days, which means they probably don't even know they're pregnant yet. And this is part of the problem, is the fact that, our doctors are pushing opiates, and you have a broken fingernail, you get an opiate. know, it's disgusting.
It is, and I know we're running out of time and everything, but we could, well, we have talked about this hour upon hour upon hour, and trying to see what we can do to do our part. And writing your book is certainly one of them. So if you would like to know more about it, if you have a story to share, if you want some help, get a hold of us here and we'll put you in touch with someone that's going to give you help and hope. We can promise you that. Helena, thank you, my dear Tinkerbella.
Thank you.
She's going to keep she's going to be out there spreading her wings and the fairy dust and making things really beautiful on Earth. So thanks for joining us for Right On.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for continuing to support my authors.
Absolutely, and be there at the book fair this Saturday.
That's right.
All right.
We'll see you there.
Thanks for joining us. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.